Hello Markham Gardens family, Daniel Markham here with Markham Gardens. Hey guys, not a lot of projects going on today, but I wanted to show you guys some highlights. I am super excited about everything blooming and everything growing and throwing out flowers and fruit and all sorts of stuff right now this time of year. And I just wanted to basically walk around and show you guys some of the stuff that I'm seeing today that's bringing me a little bit of joy. So hang tight with me and I'll show you guys as well, and hopefully it brings you guys a little bit of joy too. So if you guys watched the update video, you guys saw that we had the Vitex, and I told you that it wasn't quite blooming yet, but it is definitely blooming now. And we love this thing, guys. Another name for it is monk pepper. And the reason being is because the monks used the peppers that came off of these flowers to suppress their physical desires, basically, and so they call it monk pepper, but it's called Vitex, and it's also used medicinally for women. So, but the flowers do smell very good. They have sort of this musky smell to them, and just a beautiful bush. You guys can see we've got some wildflowers going over here, whole bunch of native type wildflowers, and just growing up like crazy. In fact, I think there's some little red ones down in here too. But so pretty, so pretty. Right over here we've got some more coming up, just growing all along here. Just beautiful. Now, we did throw a little bit of squash into the ground this year, and it's just now starting to do some stuff. So I think this is either spaghetti or butternut. And so we've got some flowers started. Most of them are male flowers right now. Here pretty soon we should start getting a few female flowers started up. Looks like I've got some weeding to do. The grass is trying to come up. But we did also plant some cherry tomatoes all up against the fence, and then all against each one of these poles here. We've got some more cherry tomatoes growing. You can see some of those are already starting to form, so kind of exciting. So I had showed you guys in the update video about the apple tree, the cinnamon spice apple, that I thought wasn't doing very well, and look at it now. It is finally starting to sprout out at different locations along the branches. I'm guessing it's just a slow one to wake up, but it's definitely got some new growth on it, good growth tips on there, and it's also throwing out, like I said, a shoot from the bottom. So looks like we're gonna survive. It just took a lot longer to break out. You can see here's some other fresh little buds that are just starting to break out. Quite a difference from the cinnamon spice apple, from this Einsheimer apple. I mean, this thing's just going nuts. It has grown up quite a bit. So, but let's move on to the next. Some of our casters are coming up really nice, growing into pretty decent sized plants. And guys, these things, this is giant Zanzibar castor, and these things get huge and just absolutely beautiful. Now, these will not take the winter here, so I imagine that by the time they start fruiting and seeding, they'll probably freeze and die for next year, but we'll replant them again. They're just beautiful, beautiful plants, and I'll show you a red one here in a minute. So here's the banana patch, guys. The bananas are doing amazing, definitely putting on a lot of growth. Just here in the last few weeks, guys, we've got like 3 or 4 new sets of leaves. You can see a new spike here coming out. And for those of you that have never grown them, that's how they grow. They basically throw a spike right out the center of the plant, and it's a rolled up leaf. You can see right there, it's all rolled up, and then once it gets fully out, it starts to unravel itself and then turns into one of these. So you can see here's that little curly Q on the end that you can see on the end of this. Kind of cool. But we've got several other groupings of them doing really, really well over here. And I wanted to show you guys our little patch of elephant ear back here. The elephant ear is just doing magnificent, spreading like crazy. And there's another little banana stuck in the middle of it, like, help me. because it is absolutely surrounded by elephant ear right now. But these are just so pretty. And these are all really small right now. The larger the plants, you can see they're not very big so far, but the larger the plants, the bigger these elephant ears get. And can't wait to see what this is going to look like back here this year. All of the verbena is going crazy back here, just blooming like crazy. We've got butterflies and bees and all sorts of stuff. There's a little butterfly right there doing its thing. But we also have morning glory that has started growing up back here, and you guys can see all the blooms. We're a little bit later in the day. We're going on about noon right now. That's Leo saying hi to us. So they've all closed up, but you can see there's definitely some blooms and stuff happening. And this is just a mound of morning glory and dewberry growing up here on this old stump, and it's just mounded all the way out to here and up basically to our bald cypress that we had planted back here. So I got a few of them growing. So one of the cool things that we've had grow up this year, and we didn't have them last year, were these wild lettuce. And you can see one here, you can see there's one back here, but these things really just climb for the sky. This thing is probably right now about, I'd say 10 to 12 feet high. And this isn't even the tallest one, guys. There's two of them right here. I'll show you the tallest one here in just a second. Here's another one of our castor plants. This is the regular giant Zanzibar, but give me just a second, guys. I'm gonna get you over here and show you the, I believe it's the New Zealand red. So this is absolutely beautiful. This one has red stalks and this sort of red tinge to the leaves that is just beautiful. And you guys can see already the size of these leaves. And this is only about half the size they're gonna get. But castor is gorgeous. Definitely dangerous if you've got dogs. They eat the beans. It could kill your dogs and things, but and the leaves and things are also poisonous. But beautiful, beautiful plants. Definitely create a microclimate very quickly. Then we have our blueberry plants, guys, and you can see down here there are blueberries. We have got blueberries happening like crazy right now. I picked a whole bowl of these blueberries off of this bush yesterday, and now today we're loaded up with more. And you can see that the cardinals, we've got cardinals that live around here. Cardinals have been working them over too. But definitely a lot of blueberries that are ripening on here. And well, see, I'll get to it here in a second. But a whole bunch of blueberries, guys. And I'll just tell you, that's one of the coolest things about gardening is you get food off of your plants and you get to eat them. It's amazing. So good. Sweet blueberries. Love it. We've got some beautiful cone flowers growing over here. Doing amazing, bringing in the pollinators, and really, really nice. We also have a whole slew of Arapaho blackberries that are ripening right now. And this has been really, really difficult to get some from the birds. The birds have just been taking them over like crazy. But this plant this year, you know, we usually get around 55 inches of rain here. And this month, we've already received over a full year's rain, over 55 inches. So this blackberry is just really putting out a lot of growth. But excited for those blackberries. So you guys can see our loquat here, but you guys saw the wild lettuce that I showed you over there. Let me show you this one. So this one comes up, I think I showed this in the update video. If you guys didn't see that, go back and watch that. But check out this wild lettuce. And guys, this thing is upward of 12 feet. I mean, it's cleared our roof, our porch thing now. And you can see we're flowering. We're definitely seeding now. I'll take you guys up there so you can see those tufts, but this is what it looks like when it starts seeding. And I'm totally okay with this thing growing, guys. The chickens eat it. You know, we can use it medicinally, but they're just cool looking plants. And the fact that they grow so big and so tall. But let me just show you the size of the stalk on these things. And this is a little different than the ones that have thorns on them. This doesn't seem to have any thorns, but guys, the stalk is huge. I mean, it just climbs for the sky and then starts flowering and seeding like crazy. We also had our air potato. I don't know if anybody have ever grown air potato before, but really, really neat leaves, the shapes that they have. But this one has started growing and has grown right up this pole and is now grabbing a hold of our porch up here, and you can see it wrapping around doing its thing up here. But it should fill this whole area. But air potatoes, guys, they're amazing. Grows potatoes along this vine here. Not all varieties are edible. This particular one is. And so they'll grow a potato that'll hang right here off of the vine. And you can pick that, you cut them up, you can cook them and eat those. But really, really awesome plants, just really neat. Kind of a rare color to see in the garden, but these beautiful blue flowers are growing here in the garden. These just came up wild. We didn't plant these at all, but just a beautiful addition of color into the garden. So these guys, I showed you a video short, and on the update I showed you the tomatoes that were growing up on the trellis. Well, I have done the first tie on this trellis here, but you can see we've already got some tomatoes starting, and these are going to be our red cherry tomatoes. And so we've got several of them started here along, and I'm just going to keep running this one down the line and go ahead and run this one up to the top and then across this line as well. So looking forward to having lots of cherry tomatoes this year growing along this. And you can see, I mean, there's just so many of them on there already. We got cherry tomatoes here, another grouping back here, and this other group right here. Got a couple of them growing there and getting started, doing their thing, guys. So can't wait for the cherry tomatoes. Have a couple pepper plants that I decided to plant up here in some tiny little pots just to see how they do. And we've got one here. It's like a hybrid cayenne. Just is loaded. It's got peppers all over this thing, which is amazing because this is almost full shade. I think it only gets like 3 hours of sun during the day. So the fact that it's actually giving us peppers is amazing. But over here next to the front porch, guys, I planted another pepper plant, and we get very little full sun over here, but you can see just the growth on these. This one here is a honeycomb yellow cherry tomato, and it's just getting started. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me get you up in here. You can barely see that there's just a little tomato growing right there on it, and it's got some blooms over here. So just getting started, but it is definitely shooting for the sky, having less sun. And we've even got some peppers. I think this is another hybrid cayenne type growing on this. And then these have just really surprised me, guys. This is a wild tomato that came up. I didn't plant this. It just came up in this pot on its own, and they almost look like Romas, but it grows more like an indeterminate tomato. So not really sure what it's going to be or what color these are going to turn out to be, but kind of cool. Free fruit just happened. Now, I did show you guys that we had planted these flower beds all along here, and we had sowed a whole bunch of seed. You know, Miss Markham had wanted to grow a bunch of flowers this year, and so you can see here we've actually got some zinnias growing up. And we've got a zinnia that has begun to flower, so super excited for that. Here we've got another one over here just about to open. This one's got a red center on it, so excited about what color those are going to be. And if we turn you right around here without making you dizzy, right here in front of the porch, we've got some other ones coming up, some beautiful flowers. And we're just getting started with those, guys. They're super young, haven't even got full blooming yet, but excited about that. So about a year ago, I planted some lavender, and the lavender got big enough that I was able to transplant it out of its pot. And as soon as I got it in the ground, it threw up some lavender spikes. So we have got some lavender blooms now. So these will get bigger and bigger each year. We've got one here on this side, and then we've got one right there. And this one is not yet blooming, but Definitely excited about that. Here's another one of those New Zealand reds. Not quite as red since it's not growing in the full sun, but still a beautiful castor plant. And popping in color over here, guys, is that double knockout rose. I mean, they just glow. Watch as it washes out the camera. You almost can't focus. They're so bright. But the red maples growing up, the castors. Here's our quaking aspen growing in southeast Texas. How in the world that's happening, but it is. Making that happen. And got the other double knockout growing here. I did recently plant one of these myrtle varieties, a different type of myrtle than crepe, and it has started blooming. These beautiful little cone white flowers, and loving it. So our last video, guys, I planted a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes along this back edge, and you can see the line of them down here, and I just wanted to show you guys an update. We have definitely got growth on these things. They're starting to thicken up. They're starting to fill the poles here. You can just see, I'm gonna walk down the line here and show you guys. I mean, they're doing so well. And I'd showed you guys about how to plant them next to. I planted 2 on each one of these poles. And you can see here, guys, we've already got tomatoes starting on them. So super excited about that. You can see some of these just growing right up these poles like it's no big deal. More tomatoes started on these. Totally cool. But I wanted to bring you guys back here. I mean, there's just flowers everywhere. It's starting to be so pretty back here. Just beautiful flowers standing up everywhere. Guys, forgive the mess. Anytime you have a gardener, there's always going to be empty pots laying around everywhere. But beautiful flowers. Butterflies hanging out on all the flowers. Just beautiful. But I wanted to get you guys back here and show you some of our peppers. So you guys have seen the pepper deck. Well, it is now pepper season for sure. So we've got Tabasco peppers going nuts. Blooms coming up on them. And just Tabasco peppers hanging out all over the tops of them. Here we've got some jalapeno. Some beautiful jalapeno peppers. We've got serrano peppers just hanging off the vine. Just gorgeous. We've got some chili de arbol peppers. I have one there that just got messed up, but you can see here some chili de arbol. We've even got some ghost peppers now hanging on this plant. And definitely had a little bit of too much rain, and so we ended up with some markings, some of this stuff on the leaves, a little bit of disease, but it'll pull through. It's not going to be a problem. But you can see here some of these Boot Jolokia ghost peppers doing really well. And then look at these, guys. Look at these beautiful, beautiful habaneros. So looking forward to these habaneros. And you can see here our beautyberry bush taking over the peppers. And for those that don't get to see, this is what a beautyberry's flowers look like. I'll post a picture right here of what the beautyberry looks like, but these are what the flowers look like before the berries actually get started. And you can see they just happen all the way up the stem. These are all the flowers. But I've been growing this one up for a while next to the house. Just a beautiful, beautiful bush. We even have some no heat jalapenos down here too, and you can see the size of these things. Just huge no heat jalapenos, and we're loaded. I mean, there's just so many of them growing, and we've even got new ones starting up here at the top. So awesome. Peppers are going crazy, guys. Some of these ones like the Poblano have really reached amazing heights. They're super tall. I may end up trimming this back down and letting it grow as a smaller bush, but we'll see. And then we've got some of these other ones that are a little bit later to come into bloom that are growing, and we'll get there. They will definitely get there. You can see we've got blooms on them for sure. I mean, there's blooms happening everywhere, and then there's the little peppers starting just right there. And we've even got some pollinators flying around doing their job. Look at that little bee just working these pepper plants over, making sure they're all cross-pollinated, so that when I plant one of these peppers out of the peppers that grow off of here, when I plant the seeds out of them, it'll be some sort of pepper that's going to surprise me, because I have no clue how hot it's going to be, considering we have no heat jalapeno mixed with ghost peppers. And this right here is a Carolina Reaper. This is a Carolina Reaper plant. So once they start crossing, guys, you never know what you're going to get. You could end up with a no heat jalapeno that's hot as a Carolina Reaper. You never know. Cherry tomatoes happening. And these are so good, guys. I mean, just so good. Here's one here that's almost completely ripe. Got a little green on there, but it's still really, really good. Again, guys, one of the coolest things about growing your own stuff is being able to eat your own produce. Oh, so sweet and juicy. Ridiculous. It's so good. Delicious. Now, Miss Markham wanted a mint plant, so we went ahead and planted some mint this year in this little pot. I will probably find a good location for it and get it growing really thick. We love mint, love the way the flowers look. But this is another thing, guys. You can make some sun tea. If you've never made sun tea, give that a shot and put some mint leaves in it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But even these, guys, take a piece of mint leaf. They're so good. It's so minty. But here's an update, guys, on the kiwi. So the kiwi vines are doing really, really well. Definitely starting to vine up again. And one of these days we're going to get them planted back there. And the Brugmansia. And then here's all these crepe myrtles, guys, that were bare root that I showed you guys in a previous movie. The ones that haven't been planted. And they're doing really, really well. And we've even got our desert willows over here. Our desert willows are doing really well. Definitely going to need to be potted up here pretty soon. So looking forward to that. Guys, stuff is just really, really growing well right now. When you have this much rain during the year, it makes it really, really easy. Compared to growing in Phoenix like I did before, where, you know, we had to scrimp for every bit of rain and definitely had to water consistently to keep things growing. But here, guys, when you have this much rain, it's beautiful. Let me show you guys a pan of what's happening. So you can see everything is just really green. Everything is really lush. Even the stupid grass that I really want to get rid of is growing really well. But just absolutely beautiful. Everything, the whole orchard. Oh, here's this wild lettuce, guys. This is what it looks like. See if I can get you, there we go. You can see what the flowers look like on these. And they are quite pretty. I mean, they're just little yellow flowers that happen on it, but you can see when they're done blooming, these are the seeds. And like I said, I really don't mind if they seed all over the place, all over the property. I really don't mind, because they're just such a useful plant. But definitely send roots down really deep and pulling a lot of nutrient up. I'll just use it as a chop and drop, and I can feed it to the chickens. But this thing, I'm standing on the porch, and you guys can see it's just towering way up here, and kind of amazing. But just to continue that panorama, just so you guys can see the orchard. The orchard's doing really, really well. We've got, if you're not familiar, we've got two apricot trees. We've got a peach tree, another peach tree. We've got a persimmon that's in there. We've got apples, crabapple, pears. Sorry, I keep making it go out of focus here. But we've got plum trees, 3 different varieties. We've got another persimmon right over here behind this tree that you see right there in the middle of the camera. But just beautiful. Everything's growing so well. Everything's so lush and green here. But loving it. Anyway, I think I've held on to you guys long enough. I just wanted to show you some things that I'm getting excited about. I haven't even shown you the other side of the property, guys. The trees are growing nuts, but we already did the update for this year, and I didn't want to take you on another hour-and-a-half update on all the plants, but just wanted to show you some things that I'm super excited about today. I walked out here and just enjoying watching all the plants and them growing and producing fruit and being able to eat some of that fruit off of the different plants. But just thought you might enjoy it as well. So anyway, thanks for coming along, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the Markham Gardens channel, guys, if you would hit that subscribe button. If you don't like it after a while, you can always unsubscribe, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to put out some content that you guys will enjoy, even if it is just walking around looking at some of the plants and the flowers as they grow. Guys, over the last year and a half, I counted the other day, I was totally impressed. We ended up I think we've planted 88 trees on this property in the last year and a half. So they're all blooming trees, fruiting trees, nut trees, different things like that. So just, you know, subscribe to the channel, and that way you guys will get the updates. Hit that notification button so you'll get the updates as these things grow, and you'll be able to watch the process and the progress of the Markham Gardens. And anyway, if you know somebody else that would like to view these plants and love to see the flowers and love to see what I showed you today, guys, if you would just hit that share button, share it out there with people that you know. And if you would hit that like button, guys, it definitely helps us out, lets YouTube know that it's something that is enjoyable, that other people might want to watch. So anyway, thanks for coming along with me today. Thank you, guys. Love you. Talk to you in the next one. Shalom under the dome.